Tell me, Masumi, in the course of watching me, have you learned aught of value? It's Emmett's Aether fucking with a bit, right? What do I say? Dynamis. I want to know more about Dynamis. Dynamis, you say? Curious that such an obscure phenomenon should be of interest to you. Chief Hermes, what good fortune to find you here. Is something the matter? The Iacon, I'm afraid it's done it again. No sooner did we release it for release one for observation that set upon the nearby occupies, slaughtering them. Was the creature hungry, or somehow provoked? I just fed them myself, and the occupies were keeping a wide berth. It's the nature of the Iacon that is to blame, their innate viciousness. Temperament aside, it's an outstanding creation, perfect in form and function. Though it may not be suited for release, I have no doubt that the Bureau would accept this concept for preservation. In any case, there's no point postponing the inevitable. Doros will revert them all at once. Will revert them all once the paperwork is in order. Where is the scene of the incident? Just off to the path of the 12 Wonders. As you make your way, you should see it on the left. I don't know if Doris is there, however. Hermes, wait! Okay, then. If this is part of his work, then I would observe. We follow. Okay, let's go. Emmett. On the mount. Ooh. Is that a quest I see? I'll check if it's an Aether Current quest. If it is, I'll just accept it. Move on. I won't do with any objectives unless they're like on the way to a main objective. Part of me also wonders if, since I'm in the past, can I somehow fuck with like the timeline and create a time paradox where everything bad didn't happen? I wonder. I don't know. So these are the dead things. Emmett, what do you gotta say? But where is it now? Let's see. The lacerations and burns are unmistakable. The Ikeon was indeed responsible. But the creature is... I guess... Yeah, you're right. Olympus told me not to create a time paradox. Well, because I couldn't. I couldn't because I was a invisible ghost. But, Emmet and Hythlodeus came along and made me physical. That'd be pretty cool, though, if I could create a time paradox. It's like Metal Gear Solid. The creature's nowhere to be seen. Doros must have taken it away. The man makes his base at 12 Wonders. I shall go on and seek him out there. Emmett Selk and I will search the area for good measure, just to make sure the Ikeon did not escape. My thanks. Excuse me. Let's meet the 12 Wonders when you've finished. I will go on ahead. Please follow with Masumi. Come on, Meteon. Come, it's down this path and over the bridge. Okay. Emmett, any word? No, nothing new. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to create a time paradox. Like killing Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 3 at the beginning of the game. Like how it takes place in the 60s, but Colonel is still there to yell at you in the game over screen. Doros, that's Doros. Well, now, but is it Meteon? What brings you here? Cool, I was right the first time. I just didn't know for sure. Ah, I thought I heard familiar voices. I didn't realize you two had decided to help me search for Doros. Thank you. You're in charge of the Ikiones, I believe. Where are they now? Out in the fields and restraints. Frenzied as they were, I couldn't well return them to Catesis. Once I've submitted my report, we'll see them reverted without delay. It's as he says, the beasts are indeed quite ferocious. You're one of the 14. What brings you here? Nothing you need to concern yourself with, as you were. We've heard the news that the Ikieon slaughtered Occupites. As the observer in charge, you are of the opinion that they are not fit to be released. I am. Their abnormal aggression and exceptional strength makes for a highly problematic combination. It matters not where they are released. Lycions would threaten other species and oh, it's not Icky, it's a Lycion. Okay, I couldn't tell if it's a capital I or a lowercase L. My God. Lycions would threaten other species and upset the natural order. Could it be that the specimens observed are an outlier? Highly unlikely. We've created a good many of them, all exhibited the same tendencies. Even when we use Kairos to begin with a fresh slate, their behavior was unchanged. Kairos? A memory reconfiguration system. The chief himself created it. It allows us to erase or alter memories. That way, we may observe creations in different environmental conditions, without needing to remake them from scratch. Quite impressive, and potentially dangerous, depending on the intensity of the etheric emissions. Pashtarat may not wish to have words with you. Rest assured, I've kept all values within prescribed limits, and to prevent misuse, its applications are limited to those authorized by the Chief Observer. Do not misunderstand. To manipulate a subject's memories is an intrusive act I deeply abhor. It is still preferable to execution. Come now, Chief. Let's not be so melodramatic. What was born of ether is simply being reduced to its original state. I know the distinctions concern you, but we mustn't lose sight of the bigger picture, making rational choices for the sake of a more prosperous star. If a creation cannot be properly studied, even with the aid of Kairos, we remake it. If a creation is deemed detrimental to existence, we unmake it. It is all for the greater good, and none question the necessity of such routine processes. I understand these things, I do. I have nothing to unleash a clear and undeniable threat unto the world. Yet insignificant throughout their individual lives may be next to call creation. It is all the Lyciones have. Before we seal their fates, we owe it to these beings to exhaust all options, to ensure that nothing has been overlooked. If you insist, let me provide you with a full report. We may take it from there. Would it be possible for us to attend the discussion, that Emmett Silk may better carry out his duties? By all means. Pray, show them to the meeting room. Okay, so I guess we're gonna see what's going on. This has been really interesting. Oh, she does not look happy. But yeah, like I said, this has been really interesting. This last stream everything was just death and despair. The end of the world, people dying, all that stuff. And then here we are now, back in time, where everything kind of just seems okay for the most part. It's really weird. What do you gotta say, Hermes? Okay. Meteon. To man, other beings are just things, to be used and controlled, like magic. That's what Hermes told me once. Yeah, a lot of stuff to think about right now. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna do this right now, so I don't forget. I'm just gonna retrieve all my materia out of my old level 80 accessories. This way I don't have to do it in the future. It's just these things and that's it. I gotta start getting prepared to take a look at what the end game, or what the best slot stuff is for warrior. All the proper pieces. So I know there's like 2 sets you can do. One for like probably crit, and one for skill speed. I know, but it's tough for me to decide. Either way, look at this. We got like a full new outfit for the stream. Look at that. We got a new weapon, a new set of armor. It looks really cool. I like it. Oh, thanks for the random regen. I fear this discussion may take a while, during which time... Yeah, I can keep an eye. Meteon, are you feeling unwell? It's not me, Hermes. It's you. I won't go to the meeting. I'll stay with Masumi. Low though I am to impose, I may leave Meteon in your may I leave Meteon in your care again? Yeah, sure. I'm in your debt, if you'll excuse me. Okay. So, what's up, Meteon? Can you help me with something? The meeting will make Hermes sad. I want to cheer him up with a flower. Hermes likes flowers the most, of all the creations in Elpis. Most creations are expected to be interesting, or beautiful, or strong, better in some way. But flowers are different. They're designed to suit our emotions, what we feel and want to convey. Hermes likes that. I can't make flowers, so I'll search for one, and I want you to search with me. Let's start here, at the 12 Wonders. Okay, she's following me again. Oh, Elpis flowers. They're here too. Hermes likes and dislikes them at the same time. Like me, they're entelecchies. Like me, they feel his pain and turn dark. That's only for Hermes, though. For the others, they're always white and bright. Ooh. Just a flashback about the flowers. Truly, the flower was dark in your home. Then, do you have it too? A dark emotion? Yeah, sorrow and loss. I see. Hermes has known the same, the feeling that a part of you is gone, again and again, but no one notices. Please, Masumi, won't you lend it to me, your pain and sorrow? I want you to make the flower dark, in front of Hermes. He's been in a dark place, since before he created me. He needs to know that he isn't there alone, that others are sad too. Huh. Truly, you'll do it? Thank you, Masumi. Thank you. It means more to me than I can say. Can't wait to see how Hermes reacts. Let's go back and fetch him. Guess we'll see. So, I don't know. So I guess Hermes just kind of just went insane and just became a nihilist and wants to just destroy everything. Huh. Interesting. I don't know, a lot of stuff to think about. It seems they're still talking. Let's wait until they finished. Okay. Okay. No, he's out.
Hermes!
Oh, you were waiting for me.
You've finished talking?
Yes, we've come to a decision. My thanks for keeping Meteon company. Selk and Hythlodaeus have already retired to their rooms.
Oh,
There is
there.
room for you too,
Oh.
if you would follow me.
Wait! I want to show you something first.
I gotta do stuff with the flower.
Elpis flowers?
Go on.
Huh. So I make them purple.
You're not the only one, Hermes. Others feel sad too. You're not alone.
I see Meteon has shared much with you.
Oh shit, it took the mask off. Huh,
May
so
we talk a moment?
is this time paradox time? Did we change the future? A little hedgehog.
I do not think it wrong that we live for the star, that we strive to make it a better place. And yet, in carrying out my duties here, there are times when I am plagued by doubt. Do you recall what Hythlodaeus said when we first spoke of my nomination? Death is the privilege of those who have fulfilled their purpose, a choice they embrace of their own free will. And when they depart, it is always beautiful. Perhaps it is, but only for man. Creations that he deems useless are discarded with nary a second thought. Some scarcely born into the world, afforded a handful of breaths before life and potential are abruptly extinguished. We make an effort to spare them the pain. They sense what awaits. Rage and anguish and cower and fear. And it is not beautiful. Yet no one cares. No one. So fixated are we upon the duty that we do not pause to question the method. Pain and suffering. Confusion and despair writ plain in the eyes of those poor creatures. Yet no one sees. We turn a blind eye and carry on in blissful ignorance. Not amiss. And always, always the blossoms shine pure and white. A contradiction so blatant I could scream, want to scream. How can you all accept this aberration? Then I wonder, am I the aberration for thinking thus? And I am filled with dread. But now I know I'm not alone. Not the only one for whom the flowers weep. I won't ask what you thought as you kneeled beside the Elpis, or if you only did it at Meteon's insistence. Nevertheless, I thank you. To know that you too have experienced suffering is a comfort.
I can tell you all about suffering. Oh, jeez. No more brooding, okay?
Indeed. Difficult though it may be, I must endeavor to be strong like you. The stars in the heavens. Know you what they are?
Huh. Thinking still.
Though it is too far to tell, each glittering light could be a world not unlike Aetheris. A world filled with life. So many stars, so many lives. For us, there may be no higher purpose than to live for our world. But what of the other living beings out there? What is it that gives their lives meaning? That drives them day after day after day? To pose that question to our undiscovered cousins, I created beings of dynamis, who can traverse the vast emptiness between the stars. Meteion and her sisters. Aye, sisters. She has a great many of them, and they have already departed on their journey, traveling to one star and then the next in search of life. As one might expect, exploration on such a grand scale is rife with difficulties, and thus far I've naught to show for it. But I have faith that we will make some manner of discovery ere long. And when we do, I should be glad to share our findings with you, in gratitude for your kindness. It's getting rather late. We had best find our beds. It would not do for both of us to be sleep-deprived on the morrow. Come, Meteion. Let's head back.
All right.
Okay. Going to bed. Alright, we're going back home. That's the quest. Yeah, really interesting. I don't... Still lots of questions I have. We'll find it out eventually. Find it all out eventually, I hope. Prodigal familiar returns after causing old men of trouble while we were in our meeting, I'm sure. Okay, thanks, Emmett. Verdict and execution. That don't sound good. An all too brief interlude, perhaps. Excuse me. But it's time I attend to my next task. As Emmett Selk and Hythlodaeus are aware, we reached a verdict regarding the fate of the Lycaons. 7 were created for observation, and all 7 must be unmade. Daros has followed the correct protocols, and, as Chief Overseer, I can find no fault in his judgment. The Lycaons would disrupt the natural order, ravaging and consuming other species until they themselves starve and perish. They cannot be released into the wild, they cannot be allowed to remain here in Elpis. I intend to petition the Bureau of the Architect to have the concept preserved as a restricted purpose hazardous life form. Hythlodaeus has pledged to support me in this endeavor. Yet, whatever the Bureau decides, the existing Lycaons have served their purpose. Daros has already isolated the creatures and is preparing to carry out the necessary measures. I'll join him forthwith. It's my duty to witness the conclusion to this study. If you are resolved, then we have but to accompany you. Of course, let us be off then. We'll return to the main aisle. Okay, I'll just fast travel back. Let me get this one side quest though, very quick. Okay, cool. Any more? No. Do I... Oh, I wait here. Okay. Oh, that was boring.
Now.
Ooh, cool staff.
Forgive me. Please, forgive me. May you and your kin find peace. Wherever your souls may drift in the underworld, may you find tranquil seas. Be not forgotten, in concept endure, to reclaim form and one day live again. Serve not the star, or any purpose save your own. Live again, if that be your desire. Hate, if that be your want. We are worthy. But leave your suffering behind. Lay down your burdens, be born anew. Fly high. Fly free.
Join the convocation, Hermes.
That's all you gotta say. Oh, come on, Emmett. That's it?
You do not belong here.
Leave to replace another. To be replaced. It changes nothing. Tell me, do you think it right that we sacrifice all these lives for the sake of the star? And when the star has reached perfection, what then? If all who are satisfied choose to die, shall we all die in satisfaction? I do not know. Were I to take up the seat of Van Daniel, it would be tantamount to approving my predecessor's death. I do not know if it is right. And to be torn by such thoughts. I do not know if I am fit to represent mankind.
Hermes! Please don't be angry. It hurts so.
Forgive me. If you would still consider me in spite of everything, I beg some time to gather my thoughts.
So he's...
Hythlodaeus, I fear I must trouble you to attend to the others.
'Tis no trouble at all. Take as long as you require.
So he's obviously, like, upset, but...
And you, my friend. I pray you find that which you seek.
Why does him not want to have why does him not wanting to have stuff die somehow turn to him to wanting to have everything
I expect
to die?
we have some few matters to discuss. Shall we return to the 12 Wonders for a time?
Aye.
I guess we might see soon. I don't know. Let's try to find out. The other Lycaons have been taken care of. Incident was resolved, and life in Elpis continues as normal. Or ends, as the case may be. Rationally speaking, I understand Hermes' argument. No matter how well deserved the rest, there's a pang of sadness when a colleague leaves us. Yet never has a departure caused me such grief as Hermes appears to feel. What must it be to experience such torment? That we don't know. I'm hoping we'll find out soon. Anyways. New gloves. So look at that. New stream, we got a full set of brand new armor and weapons. So, not bad. Looking good, I say. Let's get this next quest. Keep going. Ooh, shit. Level 87. Getting close. Where to now? If there's anywhere you would like to visit before we leave, I would be glad to show you the way. Hermes has not yet outright refused his position with the convocation, merely postponed his decision. As such, I may well resume my assessment. If you cannot accompany him, then I will content myself with questioning his colleagues. Ever the pragmatist, then allow me to remain your humble guide. And what of you, Masumi? Will you continue along with us? Wonderful. Our fellowship travels on unbroken. I say we explore another part of Elpis, and see what new encounters there are to be had. If you would follow me, we'd first head back towards that place. Alright, fast travel? Yeah, I'll just... is it that far? I could probably just... Yeah, I'll fast travel. Here we are, Notanius. The Neos will take us to the... Kilimelios Zephyros, the western island. That's it right there, looming large over us. Step this way, and we can soon admire the view from above. Okay. Oh, so we're just going? Yeah, okay, so it's just a teleporter to take us up.
I present to you Kilimelios Zephyros. Here you will find a number of testing facilities, as well as the observation hub of Poiton Oikos. Right then. Let's begin by...
Huh? Up with the Spriggans.
Well, well. An Arraius. How delightful.
Or Aureus, I guess it is here. Oh.
And what, pray tell, is that?
Yeah, what is that?
Ah, that's a new species of shark. We approved the concept but a few days ago. Sharks are among the most popular sea creatures. Rare is the day when someone does not submit a new concept.
So just making new sharks.
At first, they were largely orthodox. Consideration given to such things as size and environmental impact. And then a whimsical someone thought to bestow it with flight. Another, superior intelligence. And then the floodgates burst. Concepts with multiple heads, or arms and legs, and so on and so forth. It was getting absurd. A part of me wanted to tell them to go away and find something else to create, but in the end, I couldn't deny their passion. And here we are.
What the fuck is going on? No more sharks. Oh, fuck. Well. Oh.
That was too close. Are you unharmed?
Oh shit, isn't that,
Now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Heidelin? Right?
But
Yeah.
that we should meet you here.
If I'm not, ooh, fuck, okay. Shit just got interesting. Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star. Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work.
Oh.
Venat is her name, and she is the previous Azem.
Oh. Oh. Okay. That's why.
It has been a while, Hythlodaeus. You look well. Less so, Emmet Selk. I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number. A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
How is he, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am.
So, Venat is the previous Azem. Azem is the person's crystal I have. We're kind of buddies. Venat also started the rebellion against Zodiac and created Hydaelyn. Venat is also Hydaelyn.
Now then, you are?
This is getting really... I wonder what's going to happen now that I'm here.
I say, have you perchance come from the future? I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you.
Uh-oh. Time
Therefore,
paradox.
I wove the enchantment. I could only have done so at a later point in time.
Mommy.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether.
Tricky by enthrallment of primals by any chance? Time to ask the serious questions. Or do they not know what primals are? Yeah, I guess they don't know what they are.
I'm not familiar with such beings, but if they enthrall by warping the balance of ether, then yes, the magic would afford you a measure of protection. I gather from your question that you are not ignorant to its presence.
Hold on. From the future? That's absurd.
When do I tell Emmett? When do I tell Emmett that I killed him in the future?
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
The reality to which you must return exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present.
Oh wait, so when Elizabeth said that, did he mean like, no matter what I do, can't change the future, or did he tell me just, or did he tell me? Oop.
Your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours.
Okay, that's what he meant. That's what he meant. He meant, yeah, no matter what I do, I can't change from the end of the world happening. He didn't mean to say like, he didn't mean by saying, don't fuck it up, don't make a time paradox. So no matter what I do, I can't change the end of the world, but I can help. A little bit, I think, right? That's what I'm gathering.
How very exciting. I'm quite fond of delving into the unknown, and there's naught more unknown than the future. Until a moment finally arrives, we cannot know for certain what will come to pass, regardless of our supposed foreknowledge, so you needn't worry for us. More importantly, that you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past, bespeaks the gravity of your quest. Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
Do I tell them? Do I? Can I? Oh, Emmett's upset.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself. As a representative of the Convocation, I will hear it all. Your identity, purpose, everything.
Why don't we move to a place more conducive to calm conversation? I've been working here for some days now at an old friend's behest. If it is agreeable, we may make use of my accommodation at Poiton Oikos.
So I guess this is where I tell them what's
We were meant
gonna
to
happen.
meet. I am certain of it. Else I wouldn't have marked you so clearly and sent you unto myself in the past. It's precisely the sort of mischief I would get up to. I'm quite inspired, if I do say so myself.
Well then. Wow. Yeah, shit just got really interesting right now. Even more so. I keep saying that, like, I keep saying stuff gets more, stuff is getting interesting, but it keeps, like, somehow keeps ending up one-upping itself. Either way, I'm going this way because there's an Aether Current over here. A harmless stray familiar. As far as I'm concerned, the nebulous talk of the future is this, future this and changing history that can wait. First, I mean to find out exactly who you are and what you hope to achieve here. My apologies, but before we move along, a colleague has tasked me with a matter which I'd rather not leave unresolved. It involves finding certain concept-engraved crystal, the quick-fingered Aureus, which made off with it. An Aureus, you say? I think we might have seen the culprit before being distracted by that business with the shark. Would you like to show us its ethereal trail? That would, of course, lead us only to the Aureus. There's no guarantee that it hasn't dropped or stashed away the crystal you seek. Please, even if that much would be enormously helpful. While you're hunting down the thief, I can follow behind and scour the forest floor just in case. Could I ask that you join the search? I'd appreciate another pair of eyes to cover the land to the west of here. Okay. Many thanks. There's a small bridge leading to Poiton Oikos. Let's meet up there once we've exhausted all our efforts. Okay. Our last searcher returns. I'm afraid the Aureus no longer had the crystal, nor was I able to find it as I followed in its wake. I don't suppose you fared any better. I got it. The crystal. Well done. Wonderful. Now I can focus on your tale without that missing concept nagging at my mind. Have you always had a knack for finding things? I've often been asked to do so. Oh, you two? Some of us seem destined to always be searching, for ourselves and for others. Long ago, when I held the seat of Azim, I was forever trekking back and forth across the star in search of answers to people's problems. Naturally, they need for such journeys and lessened considerably since I entrusted the position to my whimsical successor. Yet I'm still eager to come running should an old acquaintance or new interest require my personal attention. As it brings me to Elpis, in fact, many times has my presence been requested. My opinions sought concerning the habitat of this or that creation. Agreeing to help locate that missing crystal was a minor distraction, which now promises to become a major revelation. How strange and wonderful it is the way one thing leads to another. Wouldn't you agree? Hey, look at that. Level 88. Nice. 2 more levels. Max level. Hell yeah. And then I get my Confidier combo. exciting. I'm really excited to get this to the level 90. Thank you again for your timely help. Now then, 'tis time I return the stolen property. If you are going ahead to my accommodation, I will join you as soon as I have attended to that task. Follow the path straight ahead to the building at the top of the slope. I have the entire place to myself, so we can speak without fear of being disturbed or overheard. Okay. Get on our way. Just keep going. Welcome to my temporary abode. Please make yourself at home while I put on some tea. Okay. See what happens. So what are we gonna tell them, and what can we learn?
A wonderful aroma. I feel more relaxed already.
I can hear the
Would that I
piano
had sweet
music.
meats to offer, but I travel light out of habit. There's plenty of hot water though, so please have as much tea as you like. Now then, will you tell us your tale?
God, there's a lot of shit to tell them. We've been through so much. God, what did I say? Final days, sundered. I guess final days, that's what's happening.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
That's, yeah, probably best I do that. I don't know what's gonna happen. Oop, okay, that's... yeah. That's... La Habrea, I think. Going through all the events of A Realm Reborn. Or maybe that's Emmet we just talked about. Yeah, there was that. Then, yeah, killing Zodiark, end of the world, and here we are.
Preposterous. Utterly preposterous.
So I guess we told him that we'd kill
While
him.
not the words I would have chosen, I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous. What of you, Venat?
Yeah, what does she gotta think about this?
Not knowing the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale.
So did we also include the part that she, like, Heidelin, all that stuff?
Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself...
Yeah, okay, we did.
...why I would do what I did. Why would I feel I had no recourse, but to oppose the 14 and create this Heidelin? Circumstances change, of course, but it would not have been an easy decision regardless. No, there must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis flower, which I said would serve as a guide. That it's of import to your mission is plain, but your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Fandaniel, right?
Might it not be simply thus? In the future whence he came, the final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility. Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically. The capital on Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
What about Emmett? What's he got to think about all this?
True, true. I note also that Hydaelyn did not specify a point in time to which he must return. By this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge, coincidental though it may seem.
This is quite a puzzle, and we do not have all the pieces.
Hardly any. But we do have one immutable fact. If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all that I hold dear. Yet despite being afforded long years of preparation, the only provisions I could make were for flight. Nay, my first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
Is that what we're gonna do?
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale?
Oh, we've upset Emmett. Uh-oh.
Well, I will not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity.
What am I gonna tell him? I'm gonna tell Emmett that I killed him as well.
I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman. To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this zodiac in the highest esteem. Yet, you claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory. Worse still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable? Now, I will allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren. You do not know me. I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again.
Oh no, is he leaving? Oh no, don't leave.
Emmett Selk, wait!
No, don't leave. Oh, I liked having him around. I missed him.
You've seen much of Elpis already. If you have any observations to share, I should like to hear them.
What do I say? Because I know, alright, Fandaniel's doing something, or Hermes, Dynamis. It's, fuck, dude. I'm gonna say Hermes is somehow involved.
Hermes and his creation Meteon, you say? If Dynamis is the self-same energy as Akasha, as it likely seems, then those two may well be at the center of the calamity to come. This warrants further investigation. With that settled, it is time for action.
Oh, we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something.
Puzzle are here, I'm certain of it. And when you find them, the picture my future self has painted will be complete, and you will have your answer. Now suffice it to say, I will aid you in your quest.
Okay, so we got Venat joining us to help. Now that Emmett's kind of ran away and become sad.
Have faith. If Emmet Selk is the man Azum described to me, we've not seen the last of him.
Yeah, he's got to come back to help us. Surely. He'll be back to help. Wow, okay then. Shall we begin our investigations then? I'm acquainted with Hermes, of course, but only as a visitor received by the chief overseer of Elpis. Of the man himself, I know only that which is common knowledge. Thus I suggest we fall back on the tried and true method of conversing with locals. The observers who live here can surely tell us more of Hermes and Meteon, and I have a good idea of where we might begin. Alright, let's go question them. Let's go question the people then. So, okay, that's the door out.